Presented by the all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome to Colorado. We are in Denver, Colorado at beautiful Coors Field. This ballpark opened up in April of 1995, and it is one of the iconic ballparks in all of baseball. The 2007 National League champs, Troy Tulowitzki, was a rookie in 2007. He played 10 seasons with Colorado, and so far it's been a very good return for Troy Tulowitzki to Denver.
He was talking today before the ball game about the fond memories that he had here. He says, I want to have fun with these 3 games here. I've got a lot of friends over there, and I've got a lot of great memories, and he had some great years with the Colorado Rockies. 5 times he was an all-star, Gold Glove winner, Silver Slugger. He played over 1,000 games with this team. He got him into the World Series and into the playoffs. He could do it all. He's an icon here in Colorado.
He had $2.99 for his 10 years as a Rocky, and he is back signing autographs. He was very gracious to the fans. Took a lot of time to sign autographs before the national anthems here tonight, and you can bet it's going to be interesting to hear when they announce his name here. And of course they had that patented Tulo chant that they did so often when Tulowitzki was here as a member of the Rockies. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. They lost 2 of 3 to the White Sox over the weekend in Chicago. They'll face Big John Gray here tonight. Carrera's still in right, Devin Travis at second, Josh Donaldson. Over his last 17 games, he's put up big numbers. 13 extra base hits and 17 driven in during those 17 games. And then the aforementioned Troy Tulowitzki has 106 home runs here at Coors Field. That's 6th all time. And he has 204 career home runs in total. So he has really had a great career, over 200 home runs as a shortstop. Troy Tulowitzki has been one of the premier offensive shortstops of his time.
They will go up against John Gray. This is a big test for Gray. He was the Colorado Rockies 2013 first-round draft pick. In fact, he was selected 3rd overall. This is his 13th start of the season. He was pulled in the 5th inning of his last start against the Yankees because of right shoulder fatigue. Says he's ready to go after a side session. He's been pitching well. Posted a 3-1 record in his last 6 starts, and he has never faced the Toronto Blue Jays. He's got a big arm. At times the command and control can leave him, but he's got some good stuff. That's why he was such a high draft pick just a couple of seasons ago.
He's 24 years old, and he didn't make his first start until April 22nd. He started out on the disabled list with an ab strain. Defensively, in the outfield, it is Brendan Barnes in left. Charlie Blackmon just named the National League Player of the Week for this past week. Carlos Gonzalez, a fine player in right. On the infield, none better than Nolan Arenado. He's committed just 1 error this season. Christian Adames filling in for Troy Story at shortstop, and Daniel Descalzo's second baseman. Mark Reynolds, a former Arizona Diamondback and Baltimore Orioles at first, and Nick Hundley has been a big acquisition for Colorado with this young pitching staff.
You mentioned Nolan Arenado, who won his 3rd consecutive Gold Glove last year. He joins Ichiro Suzuki as the only players to win a Gold Glove in their first 3 major league seasons. Pretty impressive at 3rd.
First pitch of the ball game is a ball to Carrera. Ezekiel Manning, .313 for the season. He's done a good job filling in for the outfielders whenever they need a day off. This is a high fly ball to center. Blackmon is on the run. He's got room and makes the catch. Carrera's at bat in Chicago against the White Sox on Saturday was a pretty good indication of where the ball was flying. And once again, that ball took off.
And it's going to be flying here in this ballpark over the next 3 days. You were talking about that at bat in Chicago. Hit one off the end of the bat and drove it all the way down the left field line, almost curled it around the foul pole for a home run. 7 home runs later, the Blue Jays had a win.
Devin Travis batting second tonight. First pitch strike to Travis. Devin hit a home run on Saturday. He was 2 for 4 in that Blue Jays win. Breaking ball inside.
Boy, he is coming into his own, isn't he? Look at his last 12 games. He's hitting over 400. Stands off the plate. I think you can get to the outside corner with him. But no, he can get it.
There's a fly ball to center. Blackmon again on his horse at the wall. Goodbye home run. We told you it was flying. Just a preview of things to come for the next 3 days.
Both of these teams can hit the long ball. Blue Jays just came from Chicago where they hit their share of home runs. Devin Travis hit one the other day, and he hits another one here in his first at bat.
And the big boys haven't even stepped to the plate yet. For Travis, that's home run number 5. It gives the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead.
Boy, he can hit. He's got some power in that swing.
Well, here's one of the big boys, Josh Donaldson. He takes a first pitch strike.
I think you can get that ball in on him, or you can get it away. He has that ability to stay closed for a long time and then lets those hands just fly through there. Devin Travis, he can hit. That is a pretty swing. I think teams get fooled by the type of power that he has. He's put together. He's not real tall, but he's strong.
Straightaway center here at Coors Field, 415 feet away from home plate. It's off the plate of off the glove of Nick Hundley, inside off the plate. Donaldson's average up to 288. We mentioned he's swinging well over his last 17 games, batting .431.
He's been under control at the plate.
That time he chases that slider. First strikeout of the ball game for Jon Gray.
That's the wipeout slider that you have to be wary of if you're a right-handed batter. Got to make sure he gets it into the strike zone. It looks like a fastball coming in, and then it just darts down and away. Pretty good two-strike pitch right there from the big right-hander.
Edwin Encarnacion, the major league leader in RBIs with 66. We have the National League leader for Colorado. He's at third base. Nolan Arenado has 63 ribbies. And Edwin has the major league lead. Broken bat, one hopper to short. Adames has it across the diamond. That ends the first, but the Blue Jays strike early. Devin Travis batting second puts the Jays on the board with his 5th home run of the season. Ball clubs in baseball with the Blue Jays and Colorado Rockies going head-to-head here in Coors Field. Charlie Blackmon, as we mentioned, the National League Player of the Week for this past week. Carlos Gonzalez batting in the cleanup spot. He's done well in interleague play this season, 15 for 29, hitting over 500 with 5 extra base hits and 5 RBIs, and right behind him, the former Oriole, Mark Reynolds, over his last 7 games, 9 for 27, 4 home runs, including his first walk-off home run yesterday. He's hit 245 home runs. Yesterday was his first career walk-off home run.
And it was a bomb, 461 to straightaway center to win that game for the Rockies. That is the lineup that Marco Estrada will face tonight for his 15th start of the season. Last time out, just 6 innings for Marco. 88 pitches. He did have 8 strikeouts. He had to leave that game with some back issues, if you remember that. 5-3 record with a 270 earned run average. For his career, he has pitched in this ballpark in a couple of games, and the Rockies have hit 343 against him.
This is Charlie Blackmon hitting .304 for this season, and Estrada looked down at the mound as if he wasn't pleased about the landing area. Tim Leeper looking at his defensive cheat sheet, make sure the outfielders are all lined up accordingly.
It's a very interesting ballpark in the terms of the ball carrying, yes, but the outfielders have to play just a little bit deeper. And with them playing a little bit deeper, you'll see a lot of bloopers fall into the outfield here.
There's a strike. It's 2-1 to Blackmon. Yeah, everybody concerns themselves with the way the ball flies, but there are a lot of hits in this outfield. It's a spacious outfield. There's that changeup that'll always get him out of a jam.
He can throw it when he is ahead in the count. He can throw it when he is behind in the count. This Rockies team is a very good fastball hitting team. That might be the equalizer tonight, the changeup.
He throws it again, and it's popped into the seats. The interesting thing, this is the 16th time the Blue Jays and Rockies have met in interleague play. The road team has never won a game.
That is so hard to believe, isn't it?
The Blue Jays are 0-6 here. The Rockies are 0-9 at Rogers Center. It's a little pop-up. Donaldson in fair territory makes the catch. 1 down. Defensively for the Blue Jays, Michael Saunders has really solidified left field for the Jays this season. Kevin Pillar continues to make outstanding plays in center. Carrera in right. Donaldson and Tulowitzki on the left side. Travis and Encarnacion on the right side. And Russell Martin making his 58th start behind the plate for Marco Estrada.
It's all Tulo all the time. There he is at shortstop in his familiar settings. He said the biggest thing that he remembers about coming to this ballpark for the first time is playing shortstop right here. He said it meant a lot to him to go out there and play shortstop for this team and just be part of this organization in this ballpark. That's his first and fondest memory here.
There's a base hit up the middle for Christian Adames. Big turn as Pillar holds him to a single.
And that is exactly what we were talking about. You have to play deeper, so those singles through the infield, and they get through the infield very quickly. Adames was sprinting like he was going to go for second base for 2. If an outfielder plays back on that ball, Cadillacs it just a little bit, you're going to see some of these runners try to take advantage of that.
This is the first time Kevin Pillar has played in this ballpark, and he was out during batting practice to make sure he could understand how the ball carries here and how much room he has to cover. Here is Nolan Arenado, tied for the National League lead in home runs, and he leads in RBIs.
See Edwin Encarnacion over there at first base. He's got to wear the sunglasses, and he's going to shield his eyes as the sun is setting right behind the left field foul pole. Shining right in Edwin's eyes, so if there's a pickoff play, be careful. That is what he is looking at.
Edwin committed his first error in the White Sox series, a pickoff throw that went off his glove. There's a strike. Arenado is 25 years old. They turned 25 on the 16th of April. This is 4th season in the big leagues, and he has made the most of it. As Pat mentioned, he's won 3 consecutive Gold Gloves. Only he and Ichiro have accomplished that. First 3 seasons in the majors winning Gold Gloves.
Well, and he can swing the bat too. It's not just all about good fielding. He can really hit too. The MLB, the top Major League Baseball RBI leaders are going to play in this series. Arenado was 63, Edwin was 66. 40 home runs last year, over 40 home runs.
Inside fastball and gets Arenado. 2 down for Estrada.
Pretty good pitch from Estrada. You can see Russell Martin moving on the inside part of the plate, and Arenado cannot extend those arms. Had a chance to watch him in batting practice, and he really likes to get extended and get the ball up in the air. That time, Marco would not allow it.
Good pitch with the fastball, kind of crossing Arenado up. So it's not any easier with the cleanup hitter, Carlos Gonzalez, hitting .517 in interleague play this season.
You got to be careful with this guy too. He is in one of those hot streaks also. He is up to 16 home runs, hit a big grand slam in yesterday's ball game for the Rockies. When he hits it, it's just a different sound. A lot louder than most people.
That home run he hit yesterday tied him with Troy Tulowitzki for 5th in franchise history. That was his 188th career home run.
What a talent. Doesn't run as much as he used to when he was a younger player, but you got to be careful, especially in this ballpark. And Marco's being very careful.
3-0 count, 2 outs. Obviously, the Rocky hitters with power, they'll let them swing 3-0 in this ballpark.
Yeah, how could you not? Right? You got these type of hitters in this ballpark. You're swinging as soon as you step into that batter's box.
Ball 4, 4-pitch walk. It's hard to pick apart anything that Estrada has done this season, but if there was one thing he would like to correct, it's the number of walks he has issued. He hasn't given up many hits, obviously, with that 11-game streak of 5 or fewer hits in 11 straight, but the walks have been a bit of a concern for him.
He has had 5 starts this year where he has walked 4 batters. And he says that. When you and I were talking to him earlier this week, he's saying that's what I would like to clean up just a little bit more, my command throughout the whole game.
Says Mark Reynolds, the first baseman. He goes after the first pitch. Reynolds has always been a free swinger. Reynolds has hit 4 home runs over his last 7 games. He has 8 for the season. Ground ball, Tulowitzki. He'll go to first, and that'll do it for the Rockies. In the bottom of the first, they leave a pair. Well, Troy Tulowitzki will get his first hit back when we come back.
Log into My Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ9913 to earn My Blue Jays points for just watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. The code must be entered by 11:59 p.m. tonight. And don't forget to look for a new card tomorrow. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Blue Jay fans at every ballpark where the Jays play, and they're no exception here tonight in Coors Field. Lots of Blue Jay fans in attendance. Michael Saunders, he makes his home here in the Denver area. He's lived here since 2011, so he's had a chance to sleep in his own bed, something a little different.
Saw a couple of the Blue Jays get off the charter last night with their suitcases on the tarmac. They were heading home.
Josh Thole also makes his offseason home here in the Denver area. Saunders .296 for the season. What a year he has put together. 37 extra base hits. It's jammed with that slider. That's the bread and butter pitch for Jon Gray, that nasty hard slider.
Yeah, that'll get him out of a lot of trouble. He'll throw it to righties, not afraid to throw it to the left-handers either. It's hard. He's got a great arm. He's hitting 97, but that slider is his pitch. If he's got it, he's going to be really tough.
Ground ball, one hop to the second baseman, Daniel Descalzo.
Shortstop, number 2, Troy Tulowitzki.
A very appropriate reception for Troy Tulowitzki, who spent 10 years with the Rockies. And I bet you he's glad that's over.
Yeah. Very appreciative. Had some fond memories here. And don't you think he wants to do something special?
Well, he will do it if he stays the same way he's been in his last 7 games. He went down with that leg injury, came off the DL. He's played 7 games since. He's hit .320 since his return, including 3 home runs.
Driving the ball, being a little bit more aggressive at the plate.
One and two to Tulowitzki. Troy has hit 106 home runs here at Coors Field. .299 hitter as a Rocky. His first season in 2007, he finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting in the National League to Ryan Braun.
By 2 votes, the closest in the National League. 2 votes. Ryan Braun won the MVP. Tulo had 609 at bats that year.
Foul back. 1 out. We're in the top of the second. Troy Tulowitzki has a lot of fans and admirers here. He came up early on and, of course, signed out of Long Beach State. Made his debut in 2006 as a 21-year-old. Played in 25 games, but then came back in 07 as the everyday shortstop. Might have broke his bat. He'll need a new bat as he fights that one off.
It's got to be so difficult right now to be swinging against this guy who's thrown 97. His sliders are 90, and he is standing right at the edge of the shadows. And it's bright sunshine right behind him. The batters are in the shade. Got to be tough to pick those pitches up.
Tulowitzki was pulled out of a game in Wrigley Field in the 9th inning last July 27th. And it had to make you think, oh, something happened, and hopefully it's nothing to do with my family. But the news was that he had been dealt to the Toronto Blue Jays. It was a surprise for him, and it was a surprise for Blue Jay fans to get a player of his magnitude, and it really tightened up the Blue Jays defensively.
Blue Jays don't win the division without him playing shortstop. They were making too many errors at shortstop, too many mistakes. He just steadied everybody. And you know, that's what Troy is all about. He talks about it all the time. I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about winning. That's what it's all about. That's one of the things he said. The first thing he thought of was the first time that he was out here playing shortstop, and the winning years that they had here in Colorado, getting to the World Series and getting into the playoffs. Those are his fondest memories here.
Strike 3 called. The slider catches the inside corner. Second strikeout for Jon Gray.
Told you, when he's got that slider going, it can be pretty tough on right-handed batters, especially this time of the day where he's out in the sunshine and the hitters are in the shade. Tulo can't pull the trigger on this slider. Thought it was going to be a fastball inside, and he goes down.
Catcher Russell Martin batting with 2 outs. First pitch breaking ball. It's more of a curveball. You see, it was 78 miles an hour, and that's by design. He needs something a little softer than his fastball and his slider. That's a 91-mile-an-hour slider.
He looks like Noah Syndergaard, doesn't he, out on the mound with that flowing hair and the big right arm?
Not quite as tall as Syndergaard. Gray's 6'4", Noah's 6'6". And he's got a great physique for a starting pitcher.
Yeah, same kind of stuff too. Maybe not as refined as Syndergaard or the command and control that you need, but he's got some good stuff, and he's slowly but surely becoming a very good major league pitcher. I told you he was just drafted 3 years ago, and they got him into the big leagues very quickly, and it's been a learning process for him.
1-2. Just off the plate outside. The Rockies are really pleased with Nick Hundley, their catcher. Picked him up last year, and he's a veteran that has been a real good influence on the young pitchers on this staff. Look out, Russell. He got that one on the hand. He'll take his base hit with 2 outs.
Boy, you never want to see that. It looked like they were trying to come inside with a fastball, and Russell just cannot pull the hands back in time. Exposes the hands. He gets hit on the left wrist. I never want to see that.
So Kevin Pillar batting in the 8th spot, and the strategy changes dramatically when you're in a National League ballpark playing interleague play. The 8 hitter becomes very significant because you want to get this at bat out of the way, and you'd like to get the pitcher to the plate. Hit hard, but right to the second baseman, Descalzo. Pillar lines out to end the inning. Blue Jays leave a base runner, but they have a 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the second. by the Colorado Rockies in the first round of the 2005 draft, and obviously that was a great pick for them, but we thought we'd look at some of the other players that were picked in that 2005 draft. The Blue Jays had a pick ahead of Tulowitzki and went for the left-hander Ricky Romero. Troy Tulowitzki then went 7th. Andrew McCutchen, who's been a superstar player for the Pirates, was 11th. And then look at Marco Estrada, taken by the Nationals as the 174th pick in the draft. And in my mind, the Nationals hit a home run when they drafted a player in the 174th spot, and he turns out to be a major league pitcher.
A major league pitcher who has now been successful. He has learned his lessons. He has become a very good pitcher. Unfortunately for them, unfortunately for the Blue Jays, it's with Toronto. That draft was a loaded draft also. The Blue Jays picked 6th. Ryan Braun was 5th, and Tulo was at 7th.
Justin Upton was 1-1 in that draft, and then Alex Gordon, who has just returned to the active roster in Kansas City. Ryan Zimmerman, the Nationals' original third baseman, now first baseman. Ryan Braun, Ricky Romero, and Troy Tulowitzki. You can't go wrong with those picks. 1 out with the strikeout. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you very much, Jamie. And that's not good news for the Mets. He left his last start with elbow problems. He proclaimed himself fit, said the test came back and everything else, but that's kind of an alarming development for the Mets.
I watched that game, at least the first inning of it, earlier tonight. His first pitch of the ball game was 99 miles an hour. His second pitch was 100 miles an hour. But you know what I saw, Buck? His command and control wasn't as good as it's been.
It's a high fly ball to left. Michael Saunders going back. Nick Hundley flies out. 2 quick outs for Estrada here in the second.
That's something that you just can't extend, and then you can't finish your pitches. That's what happens. You start losing your control. You start walking guys. You can't throw the ball where you need to. So that's a concern, I think, for the Mets.
Yeah, it sure is. And you make a great point, because the command of your pitches comes from finishing off your pitches and getting full extension. And if that elbow is barking at you, you're not going to extend. You can flip it up there and get it a lot of leverage and get the velocity up, but you can't have finish on your pitches. Brandon Barnes takes a first pitch strike. Barnes batting in the 8th spot.
This is another spot right here. You were just talking about it last inning about being always aware of where that pitcher spot is. Marco Estrada wants to retire Brandon Barnes here, so Jonathan Gray has to lead off next inning.
There's a fly ball down the right side that broke his bat. He'll get a new piece of lumber. Yeah, you're right. And if you have the pitcher starting out the inning, obviously you feel like it should be 1 up, 1 down, and you start the inning basically with a free out. Marco's pitched in the National League long enough.
Sure.
He's pitched with the Brewers, of course, and the Nationals. He understands where he's at in the lineup. Oh, and 2. Boy, I still marvel at the fact that Russell Martin will call a changeup and then give Estrada location. Most guys are just satisfied to throw a changeup that's a little off-speed pitch.
He has that ability to throw that changeup on the corners. And if you can do that, if you can throw that changeup on the outside part of the plate to a right-hander, then you can follow that up with a cutter like he just did, or a fastball over there. Hopefully you're looking for the batter just to take it.
Fastball away.
He's throwing the changeup. His percentage versus right-handed batters has gone up this year because he's been throwing a lot more to him and been able to command and control it. He's got the lowest opponent's batting average versus right-handed batters this season. They're only hitting 149 against the changeup right-handers.
There's another changeup and another strikeout. Through 2 innings, Estrada has picked up 3 strikeouts, and he's got a 1-0 lead.
said he felt a little bit of discomfort in his back after taking a swing in that Philadelphia series. Now, I asked pitching coach Pete Walker whether he's concerned that Estrada could potentially tweak that back once again, hitting here in another National League park. And Walker told me that, yes, he admitted that Estrada didn't feel great in Philadelphia, but he's been assured since then that Estrada is healthy enough to take a swing if the opportunity arises. The key, as Buck mentioned last inning, is the number 8 hitter. That's Kevin Pillar. If he gets on base, then Estrada will find himself in a bunting situation. AL pitchers in a National League ballpark is not an ideal situation, Walker said, but you try and give your pitchers a little work prior to get their bodies loose and get their swings down. But National League pitchers definitely, Buck, have the advantage because they hit all season long.
Well, they sure do, Hazel, and they also have the advantage of getting into regular at-bats. I think that's the biggest challenge for American League pitchers, is it's so odd that they come to the plate and they're doing something they're not very comfortable doing. You can say Estrada for his career has 128 at-bats.
Some of these guys might not swing a bat in a game for years. Seeing that ball out of the hand, I don't expect Marco to stand there and swing the bat at all, not with the back problems that he has experienced in his last start. I think he'll just sit there and just watch them all go by. Ideally, I wish he'd come up 4 times and bunt 4 times.
With a man on,
with a man
those
on.
runners around. Marco has 19 hits. Takes it inside. Marco was 0 for 3 in his start at Philadelphia. And that's where he began to have the problems.
Pretty obvious those first 2 pitches that he wasn't going to swing the bat. So there's Jonathan Gray throwing right down the middle.
Gray didn't get the memo. 2-2. There's strike 3. He gets the strikeout. That's the 3rd strikeout for Gray.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for the big right-hander, Jonathan Gray of the Colorado Rockies. That fastball, it's a good one. We've seen some 97s and some 98s already this year. This game, he's thrown at 57% of the time. The slider is his wipeout pitch. That's the pitch he's going to go to right-handers. He'll mix in a curveball and a changeup every now and then. He's got the lowest opponent's batting average with 2 strikes this season. Batters are only hitting 107 against him when they get to 2 strikes, so he's got lots of weapons.
So this is Ezequiel Carrera, who flew out deep to center field in the 1st inning. Off speed pitch, catches the outside corner, ball on a strike to Carrera. Good fastball at 96. He's got velocity with an easy delivery. That's always a challenge for hitters.
Yeah, it's thrown out of that exaggerated stretch motion that we're starting to see a lot of pitchers use, where he stays over the rubber a long time. He is going to eliminate a lot of extra movement. We see David Price use this. We've seen Sonny Gray use it, Chris Tillman. And not just hard throws, all kind of different types of throws. They start in that stretch position, just a quick sideways turn, the hands stay against the body, and now you're ready to throw the ball.
Sharply hit, but foul down the first baseline. Yeah, years ago, pitchers would use that delivery as a timing mechanism and gather momentum, and you'd see a pitcher pump his arms over his head and have a big windmill windup. Not the case anymore.
Not anymore.
That's a nasty slider. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 3rd.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
This is what they call Lodo, the district where Coors Field is built. 20th and Blake That's how they got the nickname of those great sluggers, the Blake Street Bombers. Larry Walker was part of that, of course, the great Canadian. Dante Bichette, Vinny Castilla.
The big cat.
Big cat, Andres Galarraga. It's a fly ball to right. Gonzalez over near the warning track, gets there and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in their half of the third.
Hockey Central is your definitive source for NHL free agent news. Don't miss Hockey Central signing season July 1st at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on Sportsnet. And the Buck Martinez fan club apparently making the trip to Denver as well.
Yep, they're all here. That's the president and the student body.
You know that guy? We see him.
Of course
all
I know
the
him.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on your pass list today. That's the guy.
Bottom of the third, Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead thanks to the one-out home run by Devin Travis in the first inning. John Gray, the pitcher. Gray's batting .143. He has an RBI this season. Gray was picked by the Rockies out of the University of Oklahoma. Out of high school, Kansas City drafted him in the 13th round in 2010. But he went to junior college, Eastern Oklahoma Junior College, so that he would be draft eligible. But he wasn't drafted after that freshman season. He went to University of Oklahoma and pitched there. That's where the Rockies picked him up.
Rockies have spent some first-round picks over the last few years trying to acquire some young pitching talent.
There's a fly ball. Not going to carry, though. Carrera is right there in front of the fence in right. 1 down.
Marco Estrada, he does it a little bit different than the other guys that are on that list right there. We saw Chris Sale yesterday. He's got a .098 whip. That's tied with Marco Estrada for the lead in the American League. Marco does it with finesse. He does it with smarts. He's got 4 different pitches that he can throw at any time. Sometimes you'll see whip leaders. They've got the big arm or the trick pitch like a Tanaka splitter or the Corey Kluber curveball. Marco does it with smarts.
Well, he also puts his ego in his back pocket. He's not worried about lining up the radar gun. He understands who he is. Yeah, he'd like to be able to throw 98, but he doesn't. So he pitches, and he does a terrific job of it.
We had a chance to visit with him back at Rogers Center in Toronto, and we were asking him about the changeup. Where did you learn it? And he says, I picked that up from a teammate of mine when I was in the minor leagues with Washington, and it's just something that just felt right the first time I started throwing it. He understands the value of the changeup. He's got a lot of confidence in it. Not afraid to use it, and he's really interesting. He can watch a game of a film of his game and the highlights of it, and he knows what type of pitch he was throwing and what he was doing wrong with the changeup just by looking at his legs.
He has a great feel for it, and he really puts a lot of spin on that changeup. So to a batter, it looks like a fastball. What a pitch. He spots that fastball, and we shouldn't forget about that. He has great fastball command.
Can't hit this one. Fastball down and away, and if you're sitting on that changeup or you're looking for that changeup, that fastball, that's about 89, maybe 90 miles an hour on a good day. Looks like it's about 95 or 96.
Christian Adames has the Rockies hit. Had a one-out single his first time up. Just a sharp single to center. It's a little tapper back to the mound. Easy play for Estrada. Easy inning for Marco. 3 up, 3 down. Marco has retired 7 in a row.
Say staycation again with the #1 rated travel rewards card in Canada. The WestJet RBC World Elite MasterCard. Visit rbc.com/WestJet to apply today.
Beautiful evening here in Denver, Colorado. Gorgeous ballpark. This ballpark opened up in 1995. They made some renovations to it, but it has been one of the iconic ballparks in all of baseball.
I was here 20 years ago for the All-Star game, and it still looks as beautiful now as it did back then.
The rooftop is a little different feature. They took about 3,000 seats out and made that open area with restaurants and bars, and the fans have really flocked to it. It's just an open air place where you get a great view of the ballpark, and it's become a big part of a trip to Coors Field.
You say that's the most popular place to hang out right now during a game.
The rooftop. Donaldson pops it up into shallow right. Descalzo, the second baseman, calls for it. We talk about the Rockies and how good they are at picking #1 talent. They picked John Gray, third overall behind Mark Appel and Chris Bryant. Of course, Bryant's a star with the Cubs now, and John Gray's trying to establish himself here with Colorado.
Taking a little bit more time that they thought, but you can see that the talent is there. The tools are there to work with. Good fastball and a couple of good breaking balls. I think it's all about being able to pitch in this ballpark. This ballpark, it's unforgiving for pitchers. You can make some good pitches, and the next thing you know, the ball is out of the ballpark for home runs. Lots of room out there in the outfield.
That bat flies over the Blue Jays dugout into the seats, and we have seen that before from Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin loses the grip on that bat, and that Rockies fan has a souvenir.
Whenever he starts doing that, he's ready to take off. Just loses that one. Time to get some more pine tar.
He's got such a relaxed grip on that bat, but that bat flies through the zone, and you're right. When he does that a few times, it's generally a sign he's about ready to do something large. This is over the Rockies dugout, right off the dugout roof. Here we are in Coors Field with two of the best hitting ball clubs in all of baseball. There's a run on 2 hits so far.
Give him time. Give him time. As soon as it gets a little bit darker. You got two really good pitchers right now. Pitching. We told you that Gray came into this game a very hot pitcher.
Gray actually left his last start in the 5th inning after throwing just 7 pitches. He felt his shoulder tighten up. It was called shoulder fatigue, and he pitched against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. What a nice play by Arenado. He bounces it over there because of the sun. How about that play? Nolan Arenado picked that like he knew it was coming. And then, aware of the sun behind his back, he bounces the ball across the infield.
How about those soft hands? He takes a quick look over there to see where Edwin is running up the first base line. He's got quick hands, quick feet, and then throws a low throw. This is on purpose right here to make it a little bit easier. You see Mark Reynolds wearing his sunglasses, trying to deal with that sun right behind third base.
Yeah, they have talked about that, obviously, and if you look at the shadows cast by the setting sun, they're directly in line with first base from third base. And there's that bright sun that the first baseman have to deal with. That was some play by Arenado.
You have to have quick feet, great reflexes, and soft hands. Check, check, check with that kid over there.
Michael Saunders with a 2-1 count. We mentioned Arenado won 3 straight Gold Gloves his first 3 years in the majors. In 2013, he won his first as a rookie to become just the 2nd Major League third baseman to win a Gold Glove in his rookie season. Frank Malzone, a great third baseman for the Red Sox, won a Gold Glove in his rookie season in 1957. And Nolan Arenado, he has few peers defensively.
Arenado is a big guy too. Soft hands and a big bat.
2-2 to Michael Saunders. 2 outs. We're in the 4th. Checked his swing. No swing, according to Corey Blazer down at third.
There's some great third basemen around both leagues now. I mean, some great ones. Manny Machado in Baltimore. Josh Donaldson. We get our first look at Arenado.
Saunders strikes out. That's 5 strikeouts for John Gray. Well, you get a chance to see 2 of the best third basemen in the game. Nolan Arenado takes one away from Edwin Encarnacion. single here. Ground ball through the middle. And take a look at his opponent's batting average by month this season.
239 is really good. That's what he did in April. Then in May, followed that up by knocking 100 points off of that. If you think, well, can you do better than that? Well, he has in the month of June. Just a 130 batting average for Marco in the month of June. And you might ask yourself, well, who has he been pitching against in the month of June? He's pitched at Boston, Baltimore, Arizona, and he was at Philadelphia. Some pretty decent offensive clubs that he has done that too.
Nolan Arenado struck out on an inside fastball his first time up. And he thought he got another fastball, but the changeup crosses him up. 0-2.
Got him talking to himself now. Arenado looking fastball. He gets the eephus, the changeup.
Fly ball to center, not deep. Pilar is there, makes a catch. Arenado's retired, one down.
You know what constantly amazes me when we do games with Marco Estrada pitching is the weak contact from the opposition. He just keeps them off balance so much they just can't get good wood on the ball.
You made a great point earlier about how pitchers should watch what Estrada's doing and how he neutralizes powerful hitters just by locating his fastball. And yeah, he's got an exceptional changeup, but at the same time, it's all about messing up the timing of the hitters.
You know what we haven't seen is a curveball, and you know about the curveball in this ballpark. Everybody talks about, well, you know, you're a mile high and you don't get the great spin that you need to get with the curveball. You're not going to be able to. It's not going to break as much. He hasn't thrown one yet.
Now, he's aware of that. He mentioned that in our conversation. He says, you know, curveballs can be tough here. And we spoke to some of the Rockies announcers about that. And they said, well, it's not so much that you can't throw them. You just have to really commit to it. That's a pretty good pitch. They didn't get the call. But Marco, he's not going to go to the curveball very often, I don't think. '89 past Gonzalez. You know, and everybody might ask, well, what's the reason curveballs don't break? Well, you're a mile high here in Denver in this ballpark, and the air's a little thinner. There's not the resistance you would have at sea level, and the ball just doesn't react the same. Plus, it's always dry here. Tough to get a real good feel for the baseball and a good grip. Pitchers are always trying to figure out ways to get a tacky feeling with your fingers and grip that baseball. But you can see there's that mile high indicator. That purple line in the upper deck is exactly a mile high.
And that's where we sit. And we'll probably see a changeup right here from Estrada.
There it is, right on cue. 5 strikeouts now for Marco.
The all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Downtown Denver, just a few blocks away from Coors Field. 2 down. Mark Reynolds takes the first pitch strike. Reynolds grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Marco actually missed his spot a little bit with that fastball. Russell was set up down and away. He didn't miss it that time. Came right back with a fastball and strikes out Reynolds. Couple of strikeouts in the inning. We'll go to the 5th. 1-0 Blue Jays. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie and Greg in the Samsung broadcast studio. Tulowitzki will start things off for the Blue Jays in the top of the fifth. He was caught looking at strike three his first time up, and you can see his numbers with Colorado. We mentioned he's a career .299 hitter while at Colorado, and then with Toronto hitting .228. That's a real baffler in my mind.
Well, I think a lot of it is the shock of being traded in midseason. You pick up where you've been 10 years, you get traded for the first time, then you're going to a totally different league. Tulo was talking a little bit about that before the ball game today. He said, I had to go to another league, and I had been used to facing the Baumgartners and the Kershaws and some of the better pitchers in the National League. I go to the American League, I knew no one. So it's been a learning process for him also. Now, if the last week or so has been an indication, it looks like Tulowitzki's found his stroke.
Tulowitzki, for his career, active batting average of .293. When you think about it, there are only 12 active 300 hitters in all of baseball.
12.
Ball in a strike. Hammered but foul down the left side. That's the one thing we have seen. This is now his 8th game since coming off the disabled list. He's much more aggressive in his return.
Aggressive, especially early in the count. And, you know, he was letting a lot of pitches go by, it seemed like. Guessing on pitches, possibly. 3-2 fastballs were right down the middle. I think a lot of that has to do with being in new surroundings and facing pitchers that you're not really used to. I mean, think about it. You come to the ballpark for 10 years. You become very susceptible to everything as he grounds out. But you're used to everything. To the clubhouse guys, to your parking place, to your house. Everything is the same. And then to have that all change, I mean, there's got to be a time where there's some adjustment that's going to happen.
Well, you're right, especially when you don't expect it. But you know, I think the pennant race really kept him going last year, and he had a great postseason. He had 11 RBIs for the Blue Jays in the postseason. But he got off to a rough start, hitting under 200 his first 32 games. Headed in the right direction now. Russell Martin was hit by a pitch in his first at bat. These two ball clubs, since the beginning of 2015, have hit more home runs than anybody. Blue Jays have hit 342. Colorado's hit 288. And tonight we have one run.
Thanks to
good pitching.
And the only run scored on a home run.
Devin Travis with a first inning home run, number 5 for Travis. One and two to Russell Martin. That's a nasty slider. 6 strikeouts now for Gray. Well, you see the hot hitters in the month of June. Toronto and Colorado, they have both hit well. And look at, they're averaging almost 6 runs a game. Lots of home runs. Toronto has 41. Colorado has 37. And the home runs have been flying. You think the numbers there are impressive? Home runs? How about Baltimore this month?
Jeez.
The Orioles have homered in all but 7 of their 75 games this season. They've hit 51 home runs in 25 games in June. And they have 3 more games in June. They have an off day tonight, and then they're going to play 2 in San Diego. There's another bat going into the seats.
That one looked like it ended up with a Blue Jay fan. Or not, they're tugging on it.
Now there's a tug of war going on.
And the attendees saying, now hold on just a second. Let's see what we can do. Pilar, remember, his right arm jammed up against that wall in yesterday's ball game. So he's a little tender on the right side. So I'm not surprised that the bat loses grip with it. We're just showing the teams and how evenly matched they are offensively. I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't think this game's going to end up 1-0.
Ground ball to short. Adames throws out Pilar. Another quick inning for John Gray. He's retired 10 straight Blue Jays.
June 30th from 12 noon to 1 p.m. in the afternoon. For more information, visit bluejays.com/autograph appearance. Get there early and say hello to the Blue Jays center fielder.
Absolutely great opportunity to meet one of the real good young players in all of baseball, Kevin Pilar. That Thursday is when the Blue Jays will open up their final first half homestand of the season. Cleveland Indians are in town for 4 games, and Kansas City Royals for 3. Followed by the Tigers for a 4-game series that will wrap up the first half of the season as we go into the All-Star break.
Red hot Cleveland Indians, huh?
9 in a row the Indians have won. Daniel Descalzo playing at second base. DJ LeMahieu, the regular second baseman, left the game yesterday after a knee injury, fielding a ball here on the infield, and elevates that fastball. Boy, Estrada's done a terrific job of setting up the fastball with a very good changeup early in the at-bats.
That is 7 strikeouts now for Marco Estrada, 3 in a row. Got Descalzo last time on a changeup, so he's going to elevate this time upstairs, and a half swing finishes him off. Yeah, unfortunately for the Rockies, fortunately for the Blue Jays, their double play combination, the Rockies are out of this ball game.
Trevor Story got hit by a pitch and injured the middle finger of his right hand. X-rays were negative, but it's swollen up and pretty sore. There are some doubts as if we'll see either one of those guys in this 3-game series. Says the catcher, Nick Hundley. He flew out to left field his first time up. We say wait, wait, wait. And then you got to wait a little bit longer to hit that changeup.
And you can tell yourself that you got to wait. And sometimes you just see the arm action that Marco has. And it looks like a fastball coming out of his hand, but it's so slow. But it's true.
High pop-up. Tulowitzki on the edge of the infield grass, and he makes the catch.
You know, by true, I mean it stays on line. So you think that you can hit it, but the arm speed is so good and the ball is so slow, it does what a changeup's supposed to do. It changes the pace of the swing. I mean, it's an outstanding pitch. I'd love to see pitchers try to incorporate it just a little bit more. There are all kind of different grips that you can use on that changeup, and Marco's tried them all, but he gets a lot of success by using the two middle fingers.
That looked like a cut fastball. He first pitched to Brandon Barnes. That's the second base hit for Colorado.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Brandon Barnes got a cutter on the first pitch and lined it into center. That's just the second hit for Colorado. Now the pitcher, John Gray. He hit a fly ball to right field. His first time up, he goes at it and lines it right to Devin Travis. So the 2-out single is left on base. Go ahead to the 6th, 1-0.
France, 22 teams, 21 stages, over 3,500 kilometers. Watch all the action of cycling's most prestigious event, the Tour de France, July 2nd to 24th on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 1. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. That's one of the great sporting events in the world, the Tour de France, and you can see it all right here on Sportsnet. Then setting to the west, the Front Range not far from this ballpark, and of course deeper into the Rockies. You got some great areas for summer and winter recreation. Quite a ball game for John Gray. The only hit he's allowed was a 1-out home run to Devin Travis in the first. That's the only run of the ball game.
He has set down every other Blue Jay since then. It's a 2-strike ball that hit Russell Martin in the second inning. Everybody else has gone down.
Marco Estrada never got the bat off his shoulder in his only at bat back in the third. He was called out on strikes.
You know what? I can tell he's not going to swing the bat. You know how I can tell?
No.
He's not wearing any batting gloves. Generally, pitchers will wear batting gloves if they're going to swing the bat just to absorb the shock.
Well, he's got that thumb guard on, though.
That doesn't count.
Marco's thinking, man, all I want to do is swing. He wants to swing. Pitchers always want to hit, and they always brag about it. Yeah, I can hit, man. But I think he's under orders. He strikes out for a second time. 7 strikeouts for Gray. He gets his mound opponent twice.
Just like everyday players think they're pitchers. They all have knuckleballs.
Yeah.
You've seen it, right?
We mentioned that in this series, this is the 16th game between the Rockies and the Blue Jays, the road team has never won a game. Blue Jays are 0-6 as Carrera bunts it to third base. Arenado is right on it. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, they got some hitters in that lineup. Tyler Naquin's done a nice job filling in. He's batting .328, playing in center field for Michael Brantley, who's still on the disabled list. And how about their shortstop, Lindor, hitting .315?
Oh, he's a good player. He is a really good player. They got some young guys on that team.
Lindor is 2 for 3 tonight. Mike Napoli, he's been a good pickup. He hit one of the 4 home runs in the inning that Justin Verlander gave up. First time in Tiger history a pitcher has allowed 4 home runs in an inning. And Justin Verlander did that pitching to the Indians. Devin Travis lines this one to right. That's going to get down and go past Gonzalez all the way to the wall. Travis is headed for second. He'll stop there with a 2-out double. His second hit of the night.
You know, that is his strength right there. The ability to take that pitch that's away from him and go the other way. He's got some pop, and I think the outfielders are going to understand there's some extra bases in that bat. Watch how he stays back on that ball, gets on top of it, and Carlos Gonzalez, the right fielder, is fooled. This ball shoots right by him for extra bases. He's going to have to take a couple of steps deeper against Devin Travis.
That ball shot past Gonzalez. So now the Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position for Josh Donaldson. He goes after the first pitch. Travis is getting the wave. Here's the throw from Barnes. It's a strong throw. Hundley can't handle it. Devin Travis slides in safely. Boy, nice throw by Barnes from left field, but it short hopped Hundley and he wasn't able to come up with it.
Yeah, if it was a little bit closer to him, he would have caught it on the fly. If it was a little bit further from him, it would have been a much better hop to deal with. Barnes with a strong throw from the outfield. Devin Travis is at second base, and watch him there. 2 outs, he's going on contact, but Barnes charges quickly. Watch the throw, how it's going to just handcuff the catcher. There's not much you can do with that. Just pick it and throw your glove down. But he can't come up with it. Travis scores the second run. And on that throw to the plate, Josh Donaldson gets himself into scoring position.
And when Encarnacion goes after the first pitch.
Watch the catcher go down to try and catch this ball. Ideally, you'd like to go down and get it, go out and get it.
I think Hundley made a mistake because he was trying to decoy Devin Travis. He stood as if there wasn't going to be a play. But had he gotten himself more into a fielding position, he might have been able to take the short hop. Travis had to know there was going to be a play at the plate with 2 outs. They got to take a shot at him. But I think because he stood up trying to decoy Travis, he wasn't in a real good position to make the play on the short hop.
Is that why the glove was then going down instead of getting down?
Fielded like an infielder.
Like an infielder, yeah.
Ball on the strike. Inside. Now it's 2-1 to Encarnacion. Edwin is 0 for 2, and he was robbed of a base hit by Arenado at third. A hot shot, 1-hopper to the third baseman's glove side. 2-0 Blue Jays. He went around. 2-2.
Perfect time for a changeup right there. He doesn't throw that many of them. Threw one in a fastball count, and Edwin was guessing fastball.
Donaldson with the RBI has now driven in 18 runs in his last 18 games. High and deep to center. This ball's got a chance. Get up, ball, and gone. Number 20 for Edwin Encarnacion. A 2-run homer to deep center field.
What a month it has been for Edwin Encarnacion. It's his 20th home run of the season. Half of them have come this month. Threw him a changeup 2-1, and he was looking for a fastball. Came back with a fastball, and he unloaded on him.
2 RBIs. This gives him 28th for the month of June.
See how he got on top of that ball? Just fought that bat through the strike zone and powered that ball out of the ballpark. And there it is. The wing.
Looking to see, could he have cracked his bat, hitting that ball over 400 feet to center? He's just looking to see where he made contact with it.
Fastball up. They wanted to go up, and there it is.
It's not on the barrel. It's really not on the sweet spot. He got jammed a little bit, but he is so strong that he just drove it out of the ballpark for his 20th home run of the season.
Another one of those months for Edwin Encarnacion. May from a couple of years ago. It was August last year. This year so far, the month of June has been really good to him.
Michael Saunders gets a piece of it. He's behind 0-2. 28 RBIs in the month of June for Encarnacion. Last August, he had 11 home runs and 35 RBIs. He's got 3 more games after this one in June.
We were saying that when the Blue Jays started out on this road trip, there could be some home runs hit. They were playing in U.S. Cellular in Chicago, and the ball was flying out of there. Now you come here. This is one of the best home run hitting ballparks in the major leagues.
Coors Field is second to Yankee Stadium in home runs per game. Yankee Stadium averages 1.6 home runs per ball game, while Coors Field has given up 1.4. It doesn't make any difference where Encarnacion's playing.
Nope.
Now he hit that one to dead center. Well, the Orioles, we mentioned their great month. They've hit 51 home runs in the month of June. That has catapulted them to the top of the American League in home runs. The Blue Jays have tied the Mariners. Saunders called out on strikes. That breaking ball catches the outside corner. But the Blue Jays scored 3 in the top of the 6th. A 2-run shot by Edwin is 20th. They have a 4-0 lead. leading the major leagues in opponent's batting average, and you can see where he stands. Lowest opponent's batting average in the first 14 starts of a season since 1921. Hard-throwing Sam McDowell, Sudden Sam in 1996 for Cleveland, held opponents to a 153 average. Louis Tiant, while pitching for the Indians in 68, 155. Nolan Ryan, 158. Liriano, 162. And Marco Estrada this season, 164.
That is through 14 starts in the live ball era in a season. Think about that, 164 batting average. Louis Tiant in 1968, of course, that was the year of the pitcher. The year before they lowered the pitching mound. And all the great pitchers that were in baseball in that year.
Sam McDowell in 1966, he started out with that 153 opponent's batting average. He finished up the season holding hitters to a 188 opponent's batting average. American League pitchers.
Those are all American League pitchers. American League history and live ball era through the first 14 starts. Marco's right there. He's on a historic run, too.
11 straight games pitching 6 or more innings, allowing 5 or fewer hits. And he's right on pace to make it 12 straight. He's allowed just 2 hits, a couple of singles. A first inning single to Christian Adames, and a 5th inning 2-out single to Brandon Barnes. That's it. Charlie Blackmon, the center fielder. He takes a walk. Second walk issued by Estrada.
The all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Christian Adames, we mentioned he had a single in the first. He is 1 for 2. Adames is 24 years old. He was signed by the Rockies in 2007 as an international free agent of the Dominican Republic. He fouls it back. He played in 26 games last year for Colorado at 245. He's played 8 seasons in the minor leagues, has over 2,500 at-bats in the minors.
They didn't get a chance to play because of Trevor Story out this game. They're starting shortstop.
That's going to drop for a base hit. Pilar's trying to cut it off. He'll come up throwing to second. Here's the throw, not in time. Adames has his second hit of the night. A leadoff walk and a double. Nobody out.
In the heart of the order coming up for the Rockies. 2 strikes. It looked like a changeup from Marco, and it's down and away. That's a good piece of 2-strike hitting right there from Adames. Doesn't try it. Pollock just goes right with it. Dumps it into the outfield. Pilar gets over there and tries to get him at second base. Remember on the hit by Adames in the first inning, he was thinking 2 on that single to center field. That time he was rewarded with a double with some hustle.
So the Rockies threatening here in the bottom of the 6th. Blue Jays have a 4-0 lead. Nolan Arenado, the third baseman. He has struck out and flied out.
It's an aggressive slide at second base by Adames. You can see Devin Travis waiting for the ball. And we're seeing this a lot now with the fielders just holding that glove on that runner in case they pop off the bag with the replay. You never know.
Good pitch on the fastball, popped up down the right field line. That's going to be out of play.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this might be the time that Marco Estrada introduces the curveball this inning right here. I cannot recall him throwing one.
No, I don't think he's thrown one.
So now you've got a couple of runners on. I thought he might throw with 2 strikes to Adames, the left-handed batter, just to show him, hey guys, I've got a pretty good curveball too. Now he's got to deal with 3 and 4, some very good hitters. You might see it.
I agree with you, it's a good idea, but I bet you that both Marco and Russell are thinking, you know, we haven't thrown one tonight, and we don't really know how it's going to react. And this would be a bad time to make a mistake.
That's one way, yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm sure he threw some down into that bullpen before the ball game just to get the feel for the spin and what the ball was doing.
That might be why we haven't seen one. Changeup and a beauty. Arenado strikes out for a second time. 1 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Bryant started out at third base, moved to right field, then he went to left field, and he hasn't lost a beat. He's 5 for 5, scored 4 runs, and driven in 6. What a night. Bryant for the season has 57 RBIs. Carlos Gonzalez has walked and struck out. I'm telling you, it's so impressive to see Estrada work. There's no panic in his approach. He trusts everything that he throws, and he's throwing it with so much conviction.
And when he gets into trouble, instead of trying to muscle his way out, trying to overthrow, he goes softer. Softer and softer, and it's really frustrating to hitters.
For a catcher, and I'm speaking from experience, for a catcher like Russell Martin, catching Marco Estrada is like an auto mechanic having the best set of tools money can buy. You can just reach in there and grab any old tool and you'll fix something.
And you'll fix something. I'm with you. That last strikeout, he gave him a changeup and he slid to the inside corner. That's the value of that changeup. He can throw it to either side of the plate.
Fastball away. Second and third, 1 out. Blackmon's at third, he walked. Adames had a double. And then Arenado struck out. You could hear Stu Cole, the third base coach, hollering, "Get back to Blackmon," as Donaldson broke in behind him. Stu Cole, the third base coach, hollering. He's got his eye on Donaldson, and Josh broke in behind the runner at third.
He's got a long way to go if he was going to do that. But we've seen Josh do that in the past. He and Russell Martin working together, giving signs just to keep that runner at third base a little bit closer.
Swinging a drive deep to right, and this one's going to go. Carlos Gonzalez, home run number 17. That's his 189th career home run. It moves him ahead of Troy Tulowitzki.
Told you he's been in a nice groove right now. I think that's 3 home runs in 3 days now for Gonzalez. And they went back to the changeup. I think Gonzalez was waiting for that one because he didn't move until the ball was out of the hand of Marco Estrada. Tried a couple of fastballs with 2 strikes away, and then Marco threw the changeup, and you can see he barely moved and just used his hands. 3-run home run.
The ball is popped up by Reynolds down the left field line, and nobody's going to get it. I'm not sure if any of them saw it really well, except maybe Saunders, and he was a long way away from it. I think both Tulowitzki and Donaldson had a tough time locating it.
Yeah, and Tulo kept looking towards Saunders for him to try and take this one. Watch Tulo as he goes over. He looks at Saunders to see where he is. Michael just can't get there.
Neither Donaldson nor Tulowitzki saw that ball, and they just ran to where they thought it might be, and Saunders was just too far away. So it's a 4-3 ball game thanks to Gonzalez and his 3-run home run, number 17 for the season. This is popped up. Russell Martin over near the Rockies dugout, reaches in, and you can see Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire, right there with him. You could run into the dugout in years past, but now they've changed the rules. So Russell was standing at the top step of that dugout. You can lean in and catch it.
Right.
And then if you fall in and stay on your feet, it's ruled a catch.
It's a catch, but you can't go into the dugout and make that catch. So Reynolds now has had 2 pop-ups just out of reach of the Blue Jays. So he's got another shot at it here.
He stays on that one and keeps it fair. Down the left field line, Reynolds is headed for second. And he'll get there. 2 doubles and a home run this inning for Colorado, plus a leadoff walk.
Yeah, and he makes up for that extra swing. Pop up down the left field line is not caught. The ball is just barely into the dugout of the Rockies, out of the reach of Russell Martin. Stays alive, gets one more shot at it. Gets an off-speed pitch, breaks his bat, and barely keeps this ball fair down the left field line. Extra bases. Josh Donaldson does everything he can to get that one. No chance.
Estrada has thrown 83 pitches to this point. Daniel Descalzo struck out twice.
Good pitch.
Ball on the strike to the Rockies second baseman.
There's Drew Storen, the former National Leaguer. He's pitched in this ballpark plenty of times. Starting to get loose.
Ball missed away. It's 3-1 to Descalzo. Nick Hundley, the catcher, is on deck. Three and one. You got a base open at first. Popped up. Another changeup. Travis out onto the outfield grass makes the catch. Marco Estrada has had his problems pitching in this ballpark in the past. He currently has a 1-run lead, but it's not unusual for good pitchers to struggle here in Colorado.
And I think a lot of them do. How about 2 of the best in the National League? Clayton Kershaw's got a 239 earned run average, but at Coors Field it jumps up to 463. Madison Bumgarner's 295. It jumps up to 4 whenever he pitches into this ballpark. They're both guys that have good curveballs, and those might get negated here in this ballpark. I was really wondering what the changeup was going to do at this altitude. It's fine. It looks great. He has really pitched well against a very good and a very hot team.
Nick Hundley goes after the first pitch and hooks it into the seats. We mentioned those 2 great pitchers, Kershaw and Bumgarner. Marco Estrada came into this game. This is his second career start. He's pitched 2 other games here prior to this start tonight. He comes in with a .939 earned run average in this ballpark.
With a very high batting average against the Rockies.
.343 prior to this start tonight.
Yeah, 7 2/3 innings, 8 earned runs and 12 hits. But that was a different Marco Estrada. He hasn't faced him since 2014. He's a different pitcher now.
Marco called Russell Martin out from behind the plate. He wanted to talk about this next pitch. Obviously a pivotal pitch in this ball game with the tying run at second. So Marco came off the mound and called for his catcher. So they have put their heads together. Little chopper, going to be a tough play for Tulowitzki. Bare hands in time. What a play. Troy Tulowitzki, the 2-time Gold Glover, makes a terrific play. Bare hands that play. The only chance he had was to barehand it, and he delivers a strike. Carlos Gonzalez, with his 189th career home run, has made it a 1-run game. Troy Tulowitzki keeps it a 1-run game with his terrific play at short to throw out Hundley.
Blue Jays, the Sportsnet app lets you stay up to date with the latest scores, breaking news, game highlights, and analysis of Canada's team. You can even stream the Blue Jays live on the go. Download the free Sportsnet app today. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And you can bet there are a lot of fans that have downloaded the app. Troy Tulowitzki, after that dazzling defensive play, will lead things off here in the 7th.
Well, he did something spectacular defensively. That was an outstanding play to get Marco Estrada out of that inning. Now let's see him do something spectacular with the bat.
Had a good cut at that first pitch. John Gray, I've been impressed with this youngster. He has thrown 88 pitches, held the Blue Jays to 4 runs on 4 hits. He's given up a pair of home runs. Both teams scoring 3 runs in the 6th inning. Josh Donaldson with an RBI single, and Edwin Encarnacion a 2-run home run right behind the Donaldson single. Devin Travis homered in the 1st. He also doubled and scored in the 6th.
What was beautiful about that, 3 runs by the Blue Jays, they did it all with 2 outs. 2 quick outs. Marco Estrada struck out, and then Carrera tried to bunt on the first pitch, and he was thrown out.
Tulowitzki hits it up the middle. Descalzo in the shift throws him out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Heck of a ball game here in Colorado. Blue Jays lead at 4-3. Carlos Gonzalez passed Troy Tulowitzki on the Rockies franchise home run list with his 189th career home run. He moves into the 5th spot all by himself. He was tied with Tulowitzki at 188. He homered yesterday a grand slam, and he's homered here tonight, a 3-run homer.
They've had some great players here in Colorado over the years. You mentioned the Blake Street Bombers with Andres Galarraga and Dante Bichette. How about Todd Helton and the great things that he did here?
1-1 to Russell Martin. That's a strike.
Helton was a super duper star right here. And actually the guy who took Tulowitzki under his wing and really showed him the ropes his first couple of years in the big leagues.
Martin hits it off the end of the bat. Reynolds flips to Gray, and Martin's retired. 2 down. Todd Helton is the franchise leader in home runs with 369. Canadian Larry Walker is second with 258. Then Vinny Castilla, the third baseman, 239. Dante Bichette, 201. And now Carlos Gonzalez at 189. Helton, of course, a terrific player for a long time here. 17 seasons. 2,247 games, 2,519 hits.
Impressive. I mean, some impressive offensive teams that they put together here.
Helton, a .316 career hitter. Kevin Pillar has lined out and grounded out. Pitcher's spot is next for the Blue Jays, and with that, Justin Smoak has grabbed the bat, come out on deck.
That's why that number 8 spot is so important. Get on base and get the pinch hitter.
Both bullpens are working right now. We saw Drew Storen up for the Blue Jays. Colorado also has someone throwing in their bullpen. Storen is ready, standing by. There's a liner down the left field line. Pillar is going to hustle around first. He's headed for second. And he'll get there with a stand-up double. 19th double of the season for Kevin Pillar, his first hit of the night.
That's how you hit a breaking ball, a hanging slider like that from Jonathan Gray. You stay right on it. Pillar got himself into a fastball count, but got a slider, but stayed back. That ball hard. And he can just cruise right into second base with that extra base hit.
$19 doubles for Pillar. Michael Saunders leads the team with 22 base hits. Steve Foster, the pitching coach, in his second season with the Rockies as their pitching coach, has a brief visit with John Gray. Chad Qualls standing by. He's ready in the Rockies bullpen. Well, Justin Smoak, who's been battling a sore knee, fouled off a ball off his back knee at Rogers Center before the club left for Chicago. This is his first at bat since.
Said it buckled him when he got hit. It really buckled him. And it's been a couple of days that he's been getting some treatment and getting some work done on that leg. So I went up to him today and I said, Smokey, you ready to go today? This is a great hitter's ballpark. He says, I think I can pitch run today. Just kidding, of course. Just kidding, of course.
I might be the only person he pinch runs for.
Love to see his bat in this ballpark.
Got a good pitch and popped it straight up a mile high. Hundley can't see it. So Arenado, the third baseman, comes down and makes the catch on the first base side of home plate. Arenado has had a good night with the glove. Marco Estrada with a pat on the back from the skipper as Marco's streak extends to 12 straight games, going 6 or more innings, allowing 5 or fewer hits. He's in line for the win, and now he'll look to the bullpen to protect this one-run lead. 8 strikeouts, 1 off his season high.
And just a couple of walks for Estrada and 5 hits. 3 of those in that last inning where they scored those 3 runs. So very efficient, 91 pitches. He will turn it over to the bullpen. First pitcher out of the bullpen, Drew Storen, and Drew's been on a nice little run lately. Storen last worked in that Chicago series when he picked up a hold a couple of days ago. ERA just keeps coming down for Drew. His pitches have a lot more zip to it. His breaking ball's been a lot better, and he's starting to use the changeup just a little bit more. Still, he's only walked 8 batters all season long.
Storen worked twice in the Chicago series. This is with that first pitch. Says Brandon Barnes, he had 1 hit off of Marco Estrada. Storen has appeared in 6 games here at Coors Field. Just like everybody else, he has been hit. There's a base hit. So the pitcher spot is up here, and this is interesting. This is Tyler Anderson, a pitcher, batting for the pitcher. Walt Weiss sending up a pitcher in a bunting situation to pinch hit for a pitcher. So Anderson will come up, Tyler Anderson. He is scheduled to pitch tomorrow's game. Check that. He's going to start on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, they only have 1 left-handed batter on their bench. That's Tony Walters. He's the backup catcher. So Anderson gets the pinch hit.
He's 0 for 6 with no sacrifices, and he jabs at it and fouls it back. So Anderson is batting for John Gray, who's out of the ball game. Brandon Barnes with a leadoff single. Colorado's down 4-3. Swinging away, and Storen almost threw that one back to the backstop. Crossing up the Blue Jays a bit, Anderson pulled the bat back and looked like he was going to try the old Baltimore chop.
Yeah, the Butcher Boy play where you fake a bunt and then you pull the bat back. What you do when you fake the bunt, you get everybody in the infield moving. Troy Tulowitzki goes to second base. Josh Donaldson charges. You got that whole left side of the infield to work with. Great play by Russell Martin to snatch that ball out of the air. While we were showing that replay, the batter Anderson went down to talk to the third base coach to make sure that everybody's on the same page here.
Anderson squares early again. This time he's bunting and bunts it foul. Just up the first baseline. Eric Young, the first base coach, with some coaching tips as Anderson comes back to grab his bat.
Maybe giving him some signs or telling him, hey, you're still bunting, or
he might just tell him, hey, move up in the box and get into fair territory. Third season for Young at first base as their coach. 1-2. Squaring around again, Anderson. This time he bunts it out in front of home. That's a good bunt. Good job by the pinch hitter, the pitcher, Tyler Anderson. Eric Young with a congratulatory handshake. He moves the runner to second.
With 2 strikes. There was a breaking ball, and he's able to keep it fair. If that ball goes foul, he's out. The runner goes back to first base, but he stays in there and just deadens the ball out in front of home plate and accomplishes the mission to go up there and advance that runner from first to second.
Well, that's National League Baseball. Everybody on the bench has to be aware. You might be called upon to pinch run, to pinch hit. Just never know. So now back to the top of the order. Charlie Blackmon had a leadoff walk in the 6th. That started that 3-run Rocky rally. Blackmon named the National League Player of the Week. He hit .424 with 5 home runs.
5 home runs, 14 hits, and 30 total bases out of the leadoff spot. He also had 9 RBIs.
Blackmon is 0 for 4 against Drew Storen. Storen, as you mentioned, has really thrown the ball much better. And what has happened is he's got life on his fastball. We've seen him up to 94 miles an hour.
We didn't see that in April and parts of May. The fastball wasn't there, and breaking ball's been a little bit better, and his changeup, been introducing that just a little bit. John Gibbons has been using him in the 7th inning. Jason Grilli in the 8th and Osun in the 9th, and he's hoping for more of that tonight.
1-2. Popped up. That's going to be into the seats. Well out of play. We talk about these two ball clubs. They have led their respective leagues in home runs since the beginning of the 2015 season. And they are evenly matched tonight. Blue Jays have a 4-3 lead. Colorado has out-hit the Blue Jays 6-5. Walt Weiss in his 4th season as the manager of the Rockies. 14 seasons as a player.
Yeah, spent that in the most of that with the Oakland A's in the American League, but then came over here and he has fit right in the National League style of baseball.
Hit him. Trying to come inside. Martin had the glove up and in, and that ball got away from Storer, and Blackmon will go to first.
Yeah, they wanted to climb the ladder, go upstairs, and get Blackmon to swing at it, pop it up, hit a fly ball, or strike out, but he just holds onto it just a little bit too long. Hits him right in the back. That's the proper way to take a pitch like that. Just turn your back. You know you're going to get hit, but protect those hands.
There hasn't been a double play in this game tonight. Christian Adames is 2 for 3. Filling in at shortstop. He doubled and scored his last time up. Wow, that was close. He just slapped at that ball and just missed an extra base hit down the left field line.
The player that he is filling in for, DJ LeMahieu at second base. LeMahieu's been swinging a hot bat too. He had a great week. He hit .448 last week with a home run, 4 RBIs, very high slugging percentage. He's out of this game, but this guy's filled in nicely. A couple of hits, he scored a run, and now he's got a chance to tie this ball game.
Trevor Story and LeMahieu both out of the lineup with injuries. Starting shortstop and second baseman. 0-1. Now it's 0-2. Hit him. Storen has hit Adames, and that will load the bases.
Well, obviously he wasn't trying to do that with 2 strikes. But what he's been trying to do the last 2 batters with 2 strikes, he's tried to throw the ball just a little bit harder to try and record the out. And both times yanked and hit that left-handed batter. The first time he tried to reach back for a little something extra with a high fastball. That time he tried to go inside. I want to hit him with 2 strikes. There's a 2-seamer and just pulls it. Pulls across and hits him right in the leg. When you got a 1-run lead, you got 2 strikes on 2 batters. You don't want to hit him. He just missed, overthrew those 2 pitches, and now he's got to deal with Arenado.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach, out for a quick visit to the mound. The bases are loaded. Arenado hitless in 3 at-bats. Jesse Chavez starting to heat up for the Blue Jays.
Marco Estrada really had Arenado's number tonight. A couple of strikeouts and a weak fly ball to center field. Last time up, he had a couple of runners on and struck out. You know he's going to want to make amends for those 2 at-bats.
21 homers, 63 RBIs for Arenado. Storen just missed him with that slider. Arenado is 1 for 3 against Drew Storen.
3 career grand slams for Arenado.
Barnes at third, Blackmon at second, and Adames at first. Arenado thought that was up.
You can still get out of this inning with a ground ball. Even though he has been wild. Gave up the hit and 2 hit batters, he can still get out of this inning unscathed with a ground ball.
drive. Finds him to score. Right behind him is Blackman, and Arenado has given the Rockies the lead. RBI 64 and 65. 5-4 Colorado.
But he is such a good hitter. Marco Estrada's had his number, struck him out a couple of times on inside changeups. They tried to go in there with a fastball. Look how short that swing is. He doesn't jam himself with a long swing. He's got a nice short swing, muscles the ball into left field, out of the reach of Josh Donaldson. It's a single to left field. And what once was a 4-0 lead for the Blue Jays has evaporated. They are now down 5-4.
And John Gibbons has come out of the Blue Jays dugout. He's going to make a pitching change. Nolan Arenado extends his National League lead in RBIs with a 2-run single here in the 7th. And Colorado has taken a 5-4 lead. Storen out of the game. Jesse Chavez coming in.
All new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Well, the Blue Jays at one point were up 4-0, and the Rockies scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th. They've added 2 more here in the bottom of the 7th. There's still just 1 out. New pitcher is Jesse Chavez.
29 games for Jesse. His first batter efficiency, 19 for 29. 0-2 record, a 341 earned run average. He's also come in those 29 games with 22 runners inherited, and 9 of them have scored, and he's got a big mess right here. First and second, just 1 out, and a very hot hitter at the plate, and Carlos Gonzalez.
Gonzalez hit a 3-run home run in the 6th. That got the Rockies right back in the game at 4-3. First pitch swinging, that's a base hit. Adames is being waved around third. Here's the throw. They cut it off. They got a guy hung up at second. Arenado is safe. Good cut by Encarnacion. He watched the base runner at third, saw them stop Adames, cut the ball, and tried to get Arenado at second.
You know, the third base coach was actually sending the runner, but I think the runner's instinct said, you know what, I had to freeze on that ball. Watch him at second base. I had to freeze. I took a step back, and then I had to hold myself up. But he was being sent by the third base coach. So, you know what, I have no chance. This is just taking too long. Arenado was watching the third base coach. That's why he had a big, wide turn at second base. Realized that the runner stopped himself. And Cargos got another base hit.
Gonzalez is 2 for 3 with a walk. Bases remain loaded for Mark Reynolds. He doubled his last time up. Colorado's an explosive team.
You know, if you're wondering why the Blue Jays did not bring in a left-handed reliever to face Carlos Gonzalez, if you missed it earlier, they don't have one down in that bullpen.
Chad Gerardo was sent back to AAA. Ryan Tepera was called up. Brett Cecil and Franklin Morales are both with AAA Buffalo. Cecil's thrown the ball very well in his rehab, but they would like to see him get another outing before they call him back up. There's Tepera, who's just rejoined the club.
He's getting close.
Really tough to operate without a competent lefty.
Well, the first batter he faced was a lefty. Reynolds is righty, then Descalso is a left-handed batter. Jesse Chavez is going to have to figure this out all by himself. Reynolds has outstanding power, but he's prone to strike out. Teams have in the past powered fastballs by him upstairs.
A bases loaded walk. Reynolds picks up the RBI, his 32nd. Back-to-back 3-run innings for Colorado, 6th and now in the 7th. Pete Walker on the phone to the bullpen.
The Jays just have not been able to stop the bleeding when they go to that bullpen. Runners on base, inherited runners, they just haven't been able to leave them out there.
The Blue Jays bullpen has had its problems all season long. They're 11th in the American League in ERA, 12th in hits per 9 innings. And that is Ryan Tepera. Two and one now to Descalso. Still just one out for Colorado. Descalso is the 8th Rocky to bat this inning. Three and one.
Descalso can keyhole him right now. Look for that one pitch in that one spot. You got the crowd fired up, and you got a pitcher on the ropes right here.
Left field line, slicing, fair ball. One run is in. Here comes another run right behind him. Gonzalez scores after Arenado crosses home. Descalso a 2-run single.
He's in a fastball count, a hitter's count. You got the bases loaded, no place to put him. He can wait for the pitch that he wants. Slice that ball down the left field line. The Blue Jays were actually playing him the other way to left field. This ball slicing down the line. You can see Michael Saunders in left field coming, but just can't get there. 2 runs are going to score. That closes the book on Drew Storen. with that run that crosses the plate.
Storen charged with 4 runs in 1/3 of an inning. Nick Hundley is the 9th Rocky to bat this inning. A 5-run inning for Colorado. Little fly ball to right. Herrera makes the catch, 2 down. Now that'll bring Brandon Barnes to the plate. He started everything with a leadoff single off of Drew Storen.
The way that these teams, or this team, can swing the bat, Marco Estrada shows you how special he was tonight. Until that 6th inning, he had him eaten out of his hand. He was dealing against them.
Held him to no runs on 2 hits through 5, and then gave up 3 runs on 3 hits in the 6th. Reynolds at second, Descalzo at first. Barnes, big swing and a miss. Barnes is 2 for 3.
They've had some injuries also. Guys on the disabled list. Geraldo Parra was their starting left fielder. That's why Barnes is playing a lot now. He's on the disabled list.
Parra was signed as a free agent after finishing up the season last year with Baltimore. That's going to be a fair ball and off the top of the wall. Reynolds is in to score. Descalzo stops at third. A 6-run inning.
They can strike at any time. Barnes rips that inside pitch down the left field line. I mean, rips it. And he comes a couple of feet from knocking this one out of the ballpark. Right off the top of that yellow line. It's got to clear that yellow line for a home run. But with that hit, he knocks out Jesse Chavez. That's Laz Diaz. He's trying to get some order. I don't know if the Rockies want to take a look at this, but there's going to be a pitching change.
Jesse Chavez is out of the game. Ryan Tepera will come in. 9-4 Colorado. Night for Tampa Bay. They scored 13 runs on 18 hits to snap that long losing streak. Ryan Tepera making his 5th appearance of the season. He was just recalled from AAA Buffalo.
Yeah, his 4th stint with the ball club. Now there are his numbers. Just recalled from Buffalo.
Ryan Rayburn pinch hitting for the pitcher Tyler Anderson. He didn't pitch, but he came on as a pinch hitter and delivered a sacrifice bunt with 2 strikes. Rayburn originally drafted by the Tigers back in 2001. Fouls that ball off his foot.
Spent some time with the Cleveland Indians, so there was a nice gathering around the batting cage today as he saw his former boss Ross Atkins, who's in town, the general manager of the Blue Jays. We had a nice visit today during batting practice.
(9-4) Colorado. They have doubled up the Blue Jay on hits 10-5. Blue Jays have out-homered them 2-1, but Colorado has put together a 6-run bottom of the 7th. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, and now Martin's going to go out and talk to Tepera. Oh, 2. Rayburn spent parts of 7 seasons with the Tigers. 3 different seasons with the Cleveland Indians, and that's ball 2.
Got some power. Power to right field. He's got 7 home runs this season.
His career high 16 home runs. He has done that twice. 2009 with the Tigers, 2013 with Cleveland.
Never really an everyday player, but an excellent fill-in.
Most at bats Rayburn has ever put together in a full season. 387 in 2011 with the Tigers. The Blue Jays had a 4-0 lead headed into the bottom of the 6th. Now they trail by 5. Rayburn strikes out. The inning is over, but Colorado scores 6 runs in the bottom of the 2nd to take a commanding 9-4 lead.
Service delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every Adam Market game live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And this is the relief pitcher taking over for John Gray. It's Gonzalez Germain, making his 27th appearance of the season.
He comes right after those hitters with a 91, 95 mile an hour two-seamer, and he's got a great changeup. It's probably his best pitch. He was with the Mets organization earlier in his career. Not afraid to throw that slider at any time.
28 years old, he'll deal with the top of the order for the Blue Jays. Ezekiel Carrera has gone 0 for 3, and there's a strike. It's 1-1. Carrera was retired on a bunt attempt in the 6th. He dropped down a pretty good bunt by normal standards, but you're not playing against a normal third baseman.
Yeah, he bunted it to the wrong guy. Arenado finished it off with an outstanding play, made it look so easy. You know what's underrated about him? He's got a great arm.
Yeah.
Got a chance to watch him today thrown across the infield. It's accurate and it's strong.
There's that good changeup.
He's got good control. He's a solid middle innings type of reliever. Not a closer, not a setup guy, but a middle guy that can eat up some of these innings, especially in the National League if you have to pinch hit for your pitcher.
Popped up behind home and over the screen, out of play. John Gray, the starter of the Blue Jays, to 4 runs on 5 hits, and he's in line for the win. Would be his 5th win of the season. This is his 14th start. Bouncing ball, big hop for Descalzo. Devin Travis has had a good night at the plate. 2 for 3. Homered in the 1st. Doubled and scored in the 6th.
4-0 lead with Marco Estrada pitching. Seems like it was going to be enough, didn't it?
It did, but you mentioned the good hitters the Rockies have. They made some adjustments in that 6th inning, especially Carlos Gonzalez. Looked like he was sitting on a changeup with 2 strikes.
Yeah, he was sitting on it, I thought, that whole at bat. You didn't see the wild swings that we saw the first couple of times through the lineup for the Rockies. In that 6th inning, they just laid back and just took what Marco gave them. Still left with a lead.
But again, we talked about this early in the ball game with Estrada. He had a leadoff walk in the 6th to Charlie Blackmon. His 2nd walk of the ball game, and Blackmon got that rally started. Ball is hit in the air to center field. Blackmon is there. Travis is retired. There have been 13 runs scored in this game tonight, 9 by the Rockies, and you see the runs per game per ballparks. Coors Field averages 13.1 runs a game. Fenway Park, Chase Field, Globe Life Park, and Target Field. That's where, of course, the Twins play, and the Rangers ballpark. That's always been a great hitters ballpark, Globe Life Park.
Great hitters ballpark. I think pitching staffs have something to do with that. Minnesota's not really known as a hitter's ballpark. Their pitching staff, they'll give up their share of runs now. This one, I can understand that. Fenway Park, Chase Field, we're going to see that next month.
Ball flies out of there.
Flies.
Josh Donaldson had an RBI single in the 6th, and he scored on the 2-run home run by Encarnacion. Troy Tulowitzki in his first game back at Coors Field since being traded by the Rockies to the Blue Jays.
Seeing everything from the other side of the ball diamond, usually over in that first base dugout.
He made his first plate appearance in the 2nd inning. Got a nice round of applause from the crowd. He was standing alone at home plate, and he took his helmet off and acknowledged the crowd. Played 10 years here with the Rockies. Full count to Donaldson.
Might get one of those change-ups again. Looks like they wanted it, but he shook them off.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Descalzo from the third base side of second makes a nice play. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Colorado leads at 9-4. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Academy will be hosting 14 Honda Super Camps across Canada. Learn techniques from former Blue Jays such as Roberto Alomar, Devon White, Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield, and Dwayne Ward. Register now at bluejays.com/camps.
Great opportunity to get some wonderful instruction from some terrific Blue Jay alumni during those super camps. So check it all out. Brian Tepera back out to work the 8th inning. Tepera struck out Ryan Rayburn, the pinch hitter, to end the 7th. Charlie Blackmon got everything started for Colorado offensively with a leadoff walk in the 6th.
Yeah, that set it up for the 3 runs that they scored in the 6th, and he came back last inning. I thought the Blackmon at bat and Adames at bat set up that whole inning. Both of them were hit with 2-strike pitches. And you're just asking for trouble when you get those guys getting them on base and ahead of Arenado and Gonzalez.
Charlie Blackmon was on the DL early in the season with turf toe. Same thing that Jose Bautista is dealing with right now. He came off the DL on April 29th. Since he's been active, he's at .318 coming into this game. He's had a hit in 43 of 54 games and has reached base in 50 games at the start of play tonight. Pretty good leadoff hitter.
He can get on base. Since the start of 2014, no one has gotten on base more than this guy out of the leadoff spot. He's got a great eye at the plate. Got some power too. 12 home runs.
Little soft pop up. Donaldson backs up on the edge of the dirt, makes the catch. Well, we had mentioned in this unique National Interleague Series that the road team has never won a game. It's the 16th time they have played, and Blue Jays haven't fared well here at Coors Field.
Yeah, 0 for 6. Look at some of the numbers, the ERA and the average. They are averaging, coming into this game, just 2 runs a game and averaging giving up 8 runs a game to the Rockies here.
Christian Adames has had a big night. He is 2 for 3, got hit by a pitch, scored a pair of runs. The Blue Jays came here to Coors Field first in May of 2006. They lost 8-3, 5-1, and 5-3. And then they made a return visit in 2010. Again, swept in that 3-game series. Ball is lined to Edwin at first base.
Yeah, what's unique about it is we showed you the Blue Jays are 0 for here in this ballpark. The Rockies are 0 for at Rogers Center.
They're 0 for 9 at Rogers Center. Neither of these teams have been able to win on the road. Well, here is the terrific young third baseman, Nolan Arenado. He was 0 for 3 when he stepped to the plate in the 7th and delivered a 2-run single to left. He drove in the 4th and 5th run to give the Rockies the lead. Arenado just turned 25.
Second round pick by this team. That's how you make use of the draft.
He set a major league record last year for extra base hits by a third baseman. Had 89 extra base hits. Plays every day. He's won 3 consecutive Gold Gloves. Covers that outside pitch and fouls it into the seats. Vinny Castilla, the longtime third baseman here, as we mentioned, he was part of the Blake Street Bombers early on, said that Nolan Arenado is the best third baseman he's ever seen. And Vinny was pretty good himself.
Vinny was good, and saw him today, didn't you? Around the batting cage.
Yep. And Arenado, he is impressed. Waves at that breaking ball. He strikes out for a 3rd time. There's Vinny Castilla on the bench. Arenado got the big hit. Blue Jays will bat in the 9th. All-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Edwin Encarnacion is going to step to the plate here in the 6th inning and unload his 20th home run of the season, his 10th home run this month, but it's his first career home run at this ballpark in Coors Field. As Edwin circles the bases with that home run, that is our drive of the game. Brought to you by Edwin's Chicken Wing.
At that point, that gave the Blue Jays a 4-0 lead, and we would see that evaporate quickly. Jason Mott, new pitcher into the ball game for the Rockies, made his big league debut in 2008 with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was originally selected by the Cardinals in the 19th round of the 2003 draft.
Rockies signed a couple of veteran relievers, Chad Qualls, who we saw earlier warming up, and Jason Mott this offseason, both in December. 2-year contract for Jason Mott. At one time threw really hard. He had a big fastball and a nice little sinker. He'll cut the ball now just a little bit more.
Mott had 42 saves for the Cardinals in 2012. Encarnacion hits this one a ton to right field. Get up, ball, and gone. A 2-homer game for Encarnacion. And he drilled that ball. They have added an extra high fence in right center in front of those two bullpens, and that cleared it.
It used to be the height of the center field fence. It'd go all the way over to that scoreboard. But this year they added the extra height to it. Didn't matter for Edwin Encarnacion as he turns this fastball around. It looked like Mott reached back for a little something extra. Well, so did Edwin. This ball is drilled into the bullpen of the Blue Jays. Second home run of the night for Edwin, number 21 on the season.
Three RBIs for Encarnacion. Michael Saunders hits this one into center, and Blackmon is going to make a nice running catch. Charlie Blackmon's got good speed. He covered a lot of ground, and he makes the catch.
Well, I thought that ball was headed for the gap, but it hung up there long enough for Blackmon to run it down. You can see he's shading him just a little bit to left field. This one is into the gap in right center field, but Blackmon with those long strides backhands the ball, takes extra bases away from Michael Saunders.
One down now. Troy Tulowitzki 0 for 3 in his return to Coors Field. Edwin, with 2 home runs tonight, has now hit 11 in June. 3 RBIs gives him 29 for the month.
Amazing. It's amazing when he gets into one of those hot streaks. When he's driving the ball to right field or left field, it doesn't matter.
For Edwin, it's his 24th career multi-home run game, the 3rd such game this season. And it doesn't make any difference where he's playing when he gets it going. We talked about him losing that bat into the seats early in the game as a precursor to a big night.
Yeah, he's had a couple of big hits. Staying in the middle of the field on both of them.
2-2 count to Troy Tulowitzki. Blue Jays have scored 5 runs tonight. 4 of those scoring on home runs. Devin Travis a solo shot in the first, and then Edwin Encarnacion a 2-run homer in the 6th and a solo home run here in the 9th.
When we started the 6th inning, it was 1-0.
You said it wasn't going to end up 1-0.
Nope.
Pop up on the right side of the diamond. Descalzo all the way out into the outfield makes the catch. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman. Thank you very much, Ivanka. That's all coming up right after this ball game. And the Blue Jays are down to their final out. Russell Martin, 0-for-2 with a strikeout. He was hit by a pitch in the second inning. Marco Estrada, the starter for the Blue Jays, goes 6 innings, allows 3 runs on 5 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 8. And the bullpen, for the first time this season, surrenders 6 runs. It's the most they have given up in a game this season. Drew Storen charged with 4 earned runs. Jesse Chavez 2. As the Rockies scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 7th.
3 relievers to get 3 outs in that inning, and that was the ball game right there. Those 6 runs. The difference in this one. Blue Jays down to their last strike.
The Blue Jays have lost 5 of their last 7. Ground ball. Descalzo at second. That's the ball game. They have lost 6 of their last 8 as they fall to the Rockies in the first of this 3-game series.
They had a 1-0 lead like we were talking about heading into the 6th inning. They scored 3 runs in the top of that inning. But then everything fell apart as the Rockies unleashed their offense. Troy Tulowitzki a little disappointed on his return back to where he started. Jonathan Gray was outstanding tonight. Rockies take the game, first game in this 3-game series.
John Gray picks up his 5th win of the season. Carlos Gonzalez had a big night with a 3-run home run. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Here's Sportsnet Central.